Yo, what's up my fellow brethren, it's your boy Elusiive and welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to improve your aim in Black Ops 6 so you guys win more of your gunfights. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and sub if you're new. But now that's over, let's get into the gameplay, me showing you guys how to improve your aim in Black Ops 6. Alrighty guys, I loaded up a custom game to show you guys the best way to improve your aim, because it'd be a lot harder if I was in an actual live game. So the first step, honestly, in having better aim is your settings, of course. Make sure you can control your settings or your sensitivity overall. So if your sensitivity is too fast, that there is already an issue on why you can't land a shot or why you're having issues with aiming at your opponent. So the first thing you want to do is adjust your settings to where you can actually control it to a certain level. You don't want it too slow, because if you turn too slow, you're going to end up being killed before you can even get to your opponent or aim at him. So you want to speed fast enough that you can turn around and like shoot someone if they're shooting you in the back, because if it's too fast, you'll turn and overshoot your opponent if they're shooting you in the back. But if it's too slow, you'll be moving at micro speeds and you'll be dead before you can even do a 180. So that's why you want a speed that's somewhat good. It'd be around like 6.6, which is what it was before, 6.7, 7.7 in there before they changed the settings. So the best section to be around now is around like this area, for example. You'd be around like a 1.4 to like a 1.8, somewhere in there for the vertical and horizontal. For the ADS sense, you'd want to drop it to around like 0.7, 0.85, 0.8, somewhere in there. I feel like those are the best spots. If you guys want like a settings video or whatever, I can make one of those in the near future. Just let me know down in the comments. But yeah, that's around a solid spot. So the first thing, your settings. The second thing is your centering, of course, which is your crosshair, which is the dot and the 4 lines. You always want it to where it will be around the high chest and the head area, depending on the map and where your positioning is. For example, say if you wanted to challenge someone that's right here, you'd want it perfectly lined to where the head or the chest would be. So when you hit the corner, as you guys can see, I don't have to pull my sight from the ground and then line it up, or pull it from the sky and line it up. It's already where he would be at, which is what you want to do. Because if you have to drag your sight from the floor to him or from the sky to him, he's going to already hit you with about a bullet or two before you can even line your shot up. So that's why you always want to center your shot. So if you wanted to challenge him, which you always want to hit an angle to where you can't be seen from multiple locations. So you wouldn't want to just hit the corner like this and then try to aim at a guy right here, because now you can be seen from here, 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 and possibly down here if someone's camping in this corner. So you'd want to angle yourself to where you could only be seen from one spot, 2 maximum, but majority of times you always want to choose 1, because 2 you can be over flooded and die. So you would want to angle yourself here, cross it, if someone's here, you shoot them, make sure the spot's good, and then you can angle yourself here, already where the chest and the head would be, kill the dude here. And if you wanted to go for, I don't know, say you wanted to center this guy, I will already have my sight pre-centered before hitting the corner. As you guys see, I'm already aiming at the window from this spot. I pre-centered it. Just in case someone's there, I'll have to instantly shoot rather than me dragging the sight up, which will allow him to hit me first. That's why you always want to pre-center your shot to where your enemy's at, and the best way to know where they're at is by staring at the radar or by paying attention from where the direction of the bullets are coming from, just in case they have like a suppressor. If you see like bullets flying from this direction downward, you know he's upstairs. Now if they're flying straight, then you know he's downstairs. And the best way to know that is if you have like a teammate that's getting shot at, or if he hits the corner and gets instantly deleted, then you'll know. Based on that, you see the bullets coming down, you know he's window. If they're coming straight across, then you know he's doorway, and you can pre-line your shot up and shoot him, or pre-line it, shoot him, or whatever the case may be. So centering, key. You always want to center your sight where the enemy is at, or where they've been at, or where the majority of enemies are always at. So aka a stronghold. A stronghold is where people are at 99% of the time when they play the map, which is usually the Windows stronghold, because it has good view. Strongholds are spots where you would hold down because they have a lot of good viewpoints. Like for a window example, it has a good viewpoint of B if it was here. It also has a good viewpoint if someone behind truck if they're camping it. Also has a good viewpoint in middle, has a good viewpoint in the other window, and also has a good viewpoint for Jeep. So this was what you would consider a stronghold, where you can see multiple active locations and hold them down. So strongholds is what you always got to look out for, and center around just in case enemies are there. So centering, very important. If you don't center, you're going to get folded unless your opponent starts missing every single shot, which is highly unlikely, definitely with thick skill base. So that's the second thing. The third thing is your class setup. Because if your class setup has absolutely horrendous recoil control, good luck trying to beam anybody from distance or off a head glitch. So you always want to build your class up around 0 recoil, and also knowing your gun's shot pattern. So in other words, the way your gun changes directions as it normally shoots. So a good example of this is like this. I know as I shoot my gun, it's going vertical and slightly going horizontal to the right. So you'd want to control that pattern for this gun. So knowing that, I know that it's going to go up and to the right. So I would slightly pull down on the analog and slightly pull left on it, so it wouldn't move. For example, as you guys see, it didn't go vertical and to the right. It stayed exactly where I wanted it to be. So that's also important. Know your gun by knowing its vertical or horizontal recoil pattern, and also building your class setup around that. And if you guys want like any good class ups for specific weapons, I have them all over my channel, because I literally study the weapons and see their pattern and see how I can counter them and what the weapon needs for a build, which is why my class setup section is pretty long, because I'm describing the gun. I want you to know the gun, because if you know the gun, then you can build a class setup around that. So that's why I always have a pretty long class setup section, but I describe the gun's weakness and why I built it a certain way and put on certain attachments. So class setup, third important thing when it comes to having better aim, or should I say third and fourth, because the weapon pattern is one thing, and then the third thing is your class setup. And for the fifth thing is a warm-up. You always want to somewhat warm up before getting into a game. Say if you get home from work or school or playing a different game or whatever, if you think you're about to hop in these thick skill-based lobbies if you have a high KD, and somehow slap a dude that's been on all day using the strongest gun in the game, you thought wrong, brother. You're getting absolutely folded like a lawn chair. Stop playing games. The best thing to do is to go into custom games against some bots if you want. Get your shot warmed up. You can also go into custom games and get your centering right, or test your settings if they're not perfect yet, or whatever the case may be. But you definitely want to at least do a warm-up for like a few minutes to get your shot up, so you're not instantly going into multiplayer, getting folded, getting pissed off, and then just like, I'm getting off type of thing. Because I know many people that kind of get very annoyed quickly when it comes to multiplayer because of thick skill base. So you're just going to make it to where your day is even worse if you go in unprepared and unwarmed up and playing against people that have been on all day. So that's why you always want to get at least a little bit of a warm-up for bots, get your shot up, make some class setups that are actually good, that can compete against good players, and then go into your game, because you'll have a better time. And before I get into the sixth tip, I forgot to mention, one of the best things that also helps you out with your aim is by changing your aim response curve type to dynamic. If you guys have more control of your thumb and you guys do micro movements, dynamic would be good for you. But if you guys feel like you have shaky hands, or you guys feel like you don't have that much control when it comes to your analog, or you feel like you're not that accurate, then you probably want to stay on standard. Dynamic is for the micro movements, which means if you slightly move the analog, it'll pick it up in the game. Standard, it doesn't do that. So that's why I feel like dynamic is definitely better for the more accurate player. And if you guys aren't as accurate, you can still put this on and test it out and try to get better, or just keep it on standard. But aim response curve type dynamic definitely helps. And another thing that will also help you is the crosshair, by putting it on static, which will make it to where the crosshair is always on the screen, which allows you to center more often rather than it disappearing as it shows in for the example in the middle. Static also helps because it allows you to be more accurate. Another good thing to add would be going to the hub presets and making it to where you increase the minimap size, which as you guys see, if you go to scale on the minimap, it makes it bigger or smaller. As you guys see, it zooms in a lot, and it also gets smaller if you make the scale smaller. But I feel like a good spot would be around like the 120 area, so this helps out a lot as well. You would also want to make your minimap square, of course, because it gives you more radar rather than the circle one. You'd also want to change your centering dot to larger rather than default, because as you guys see, default's the little small dot, larger's the medium size, and the largest is the bigger dot. I feel like the bigger dot, the largest one, you'd probably run on like a gigantic TV or whatever. But I play on a 27-inch monitor, so I play on larger. I feel like this is pretty solid, but if you guys want to go with largest, you can. But I feel like larger is definitely better than default, because it allows you to line your shot up more and center more. And you guys also can change the crosshair to any color you like. If you guys feel like the white is just not very visible, or you feel like it's just okay, but you can do better with a different color, then go ahead and change it. You can go to whatever color you like, red, red, blue, pink, whatever you feel is the best for your visibility, go with. I was going to make this an add-on, but let's just call this number 6. Now let's get into tip 7. For the 7th step, which is somewhat exclusive to controller players, is rotational target assist. So this is when you're moving and aiming. This you definitely want to utilize because rotational target assist is actually stronger than normal target assist. So you're going to be relying on your left stick rather than your right stick. Right stick will make it a lot harder to track your opponent because you'll go past them and you'll start missing your shots. But if you're relying on rotational target assist, the target assist will lock onto the character as you're moving because the rotational target assist is actually stronger than the normal one. So you just strafe them, which is good because you'll dodge bullets, which also helps you win more gunfights. But it also makes it to where you stick a lot harder. So whenever you shoot at someone or you're aiming at someone, you always want to be either spinning your analog in a circle or back and forth or whatever the case may be, but you're going to be relying on your left stick to remain accurate, because if you use your right stick, you're going to lose your opponent every single time. You're standing still and you're trying to track them with the right stick, they're just going to 180 turn on you. And if that ever happened to you, that's probably the reason why. It's because you're trying to use your right stick to aim rather than your left stick. Now, you want to slightly move your right stick, of course, to stay on target, but you want to use the left stick for the rotational target assist to practically have sticky aim. So that's also another very good important thing that you want to use for improving your aim and winning more of your gunfights. And last but not least, to help improve your aim, which is also part of the setting category, is your dead zones. You don't want your dead zones too low to the point where you're getting strong stick drift or slight stick drift, because if you're getting stick drift and you're trying to hit the corner, your centering is here, right? It's perfect. But if you're stick drifting as you're hitting the corner, then your sight will either go to the wall or higher up or whatever direction your sensitivity is kicking, like that. That's a great example. If you try to hit the corner and you get stick drift, you're gonna die. And the reason that happened on my controller is because I slightly popped it out of the center and it starts causing stick drift, which happens a lot because my dead zones are low. So you want your dead zones to be as low as they possibly can without getting stick drift. So as I mentioned, you want to make it your dead zones as low as possible without stick drift. And the reason you want it as low as possible without having stick drift, because if it's too high, it'll have a longer response time, meaning you have to move your analog a lot more before the game picks it up. So that's why you want to go as low as possible to where you don't have stick drift and you also have fast response, which is also very important when it comes to your aim, because if you have stick drift, you're gonna miss, and then you have to somewhat pull your aim back to the opponent and you're gonna be dead before then or almost dead. But if it's too slow, you're gonna have to move your analog a lot more before the game picks it up, and someone might tag you 1 or 2 bullets before the game even picks up your movement. So that's why you want to go as low as you can without stick drift. But yeah, anyways, let me know guys' thoughts down in the comments about these tips on how to improve your aim. And if I missed anything, leave it down in the comments to help people out. And also, if you have any video ideas, let me know down in the comments as well. But yeah, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to slap on the post notifications so you miss the latest and greatest videos. And I'll see you later, guys. Peace.